You put in an image in ChatGPT and it could understand the text in the image?
Yeah, dude, it's doing that since a very long time.
What? I didn't know you could do that.
I
Okay.
think in the phone you can actually click a
Okay.
picture and select the thing also. Like I think recently I was like, okay, I have like a white shirt and a brown trouser.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure like which color, like I knew white would work. I'm like, is there any other combination that could work?
Hmm.
And it was like I just clicked the picture, I circled the pants and trouser, and it told me like a set of colors. And I was like, yeah, I have these colors, this works.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Down and Dirty. That's brought to you by India's homegrown research platform Poocho that helps brands run live interviews with users for feedback and insights. Today I have with me Atul Khola. He says he sucks at math, but the one equation that he never gets wrong is beautiful UI plus efficient UX plus delightful interactions equals timeless product. He is a proud graduate of the prestigious National Institute of Fashion Technology in Mumbai, and that's where he mastered the art of design. And over the last 9 years, you have an amazing roster of cool startups that you've worked at, including Cure.fit, Topper, Media.net, and a few others. And right now, he is rocking it as the lead product designer at CRED, where he brings innovation and creativity to the table. Atul, it is great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me over. I'll actually, I don't think I can say the equation by myself without forgetting it. It's a great job.
I
You
just did it.
should-
I practiced once.
Saw
And
that, I
it
saw
worked.
that.
Okay. So let's start by, for people who don't know you but are curious about what does a lead product designer at CRED do? Tell us a little bit about your roles and responsibilities first at CRED.
I think design at this level is mostly divided amongst managers and individual contributors.
Hmm.
So some people make sure that things actually reach where they're supposed to reach on time. They
Yeah.
manage resources and everything. And I
Yeah.
think as an IC, my job is to be like a creative butterfly. I'm supposed to
Okay.
hop from one project to another and make sure that everything has that one thing that makes this feature that we create and design different from what exists out there. So I think it's about finding that
Hmm.
uniqueness in things. So yeah,
Right.
it's mostly that. And I think rest is all about designing. Just come, create, talk, have fun.
So you're doing design work and you're also, like you said, working across projects, right? Just kind of overseeing things and making sure they have that one thing that ticks.
Right.
So um, walk me through a day in your life, like from the time you wake up in the morning till you clock in, till you clock out from
Right.
work, and then clock out from the day. Like, what does it look like for you?
Right. I think I have kind of packed it in a way that I don't have a lot of extra time left. But I think I recently got curious about contemporary dance. So I was like,
Okay.
this looked fun. And I don't know, like a lot of different dances, they're more about like, oh, we'll practice this song for 3 days and you get a song. I think contemporary dance was something that felt like it's about learning a language. And it's about being in contact with the ground the whole time and kind of like you learn alphabets, then you learn how to make words and phrases, and then eventually you end up communicating in that language. It felt very interesting as a concept. So I got into it. So nowadays I have to wake up at 5:45, get ready for a
Wow,
class.
that's some commitment. Okay, all right.
No, the fun part is I'm not good at it. I when I started 3 months back, I used to suck at it really bad. And the
Yeah.
past 3 months, I've started sucking at it less. So I love the part where there are very few journeys that you take where
Yeah.
you're not consistent, you're not at the top, you're at the bottom, but it's much fun to
Yeah.
like kind of eventually kind of step up there. So it's
Yeah.
fun. So I think somewhere around 7 to 9 on weekdays, it's that.
Hmm.
From 9 to 12, it's workout. Uh, like my gym and my dance class are right in front of each other. So I'll walk from there to my gym, I'll work out, get ready for office, and my office is in the same lane. So I
Wow,
think,
that's
oh,
convenient. It's also convenient. Okay.
yeah. I think Indiranagar that way is amazing. I think you have everything around it. It's just that
Mm.
you don't get good houses. So for that case, I have to like travel 20 minutes one way. But yeah, I think then it's office and office may I think the design team at Cred is very different than usual teams. I think it's a very
Mm.
close knit, warm team.
Mm.
I have never surrounded myself with such talented individuals in one place ever. So it's like we are more
Wow.
than 50 and we span across product design to uh, motion, illustration, VFX, creative. marketing, like everything, like 50 of these, and the most nicest humans who are also amazing designers. So it's a great combination to have.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it has been more than 3 years. And one of the
Mm.
craziest things is this team doesn't shake hand and we all hug. Like, so 3 years, every morning you're hugging 50 people every day, no matter what. It's actually a very warm space to be in.
It
So
sounds like it. Okay.
I think that's what keeps people here. Like, there's
Mm.
hardly anyone ever left. People keep on joining, no one ever leaves.
Okay, that's a good thing for a growing team.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you would want right? You would want that. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I
So
think it's
work goes on till what time?
so I think till 7, it's that I
Mm.
think. And again, it depends on the project, what stage you're in.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're creating, sometimes you're mentoring, sometimes you're like just playing cricket for fun because why not? Yeah, so I
Wow.
think
Okay. Okay.
work is fun. I think you can get more done if you're sitting at home working in silence.
Mm.
But I think
Yeah.
it's fun. I think what's the point of doing something every day if it's not fun? So I
Yeah.
think most of us go there because we actually like being around each other. And I think I strongly kind of believe like there's a lot of learning that happens through osmosis. Like it's not
Mm.
project that you'll work with someone. Sometimes just having lunches with really smart
Yeah.
people, fun shit, and
Just being around someone else and other conversations. Makes sense.
I think that is something that's really great out there. So
Mm.
yeah, till around 7 or 8 works done, I come back home. But by this time, the 5 to 6 hours of intense workout and dance in the morning exhausts you. So
Yeah.
at dinner, I watch something. Uh, yeah, I try to socialize a little bit on social media with the new space that I am in. And yeah, then eventually I pass out because I have to wake up again at 5:45 the next morning.
What time do you pass out?
I try to make sure that I do that by 11, but so far
Okay.
I think my average is 11:45. So
Wow, 11:45 and then your day starts at 5:45?
yeah, I'm trying to like at least have 6 hours
That's
of sleep.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's wow. Okay. All right. And your the day at work, you and I were just talking a little bit before this recording started. You're doing two things, right? You're also doing some design, you're doing design work yourself, but then you're also overseeing other projects.
Right.
So how would you characterize what you're doing in your work day? How much time are you spending on face-to-face stuff versus, let's say, meetings versus in front of a computer actually doing design work?
I think I luckily have uh, made sure that I have very less meetings to attend.
Okay. Hmm.
So I think those are very less. I think creation itself is something that I put majority of my time in.
Okay.
And I think like I work with some really talented individuals right now. I think I'm kind of working with and partly mentoring this girl Shivani. She's a new designer, like
Mm.
someone who joined us really. And yeah, I think most of the time it's like creating something or helping on some screens that she's blogged, or I think just jamming with her on certain designs. So I think it's
Mm.
mostly creation, but uh, it's also like maybe jumping in, helping out here and there a little bit, looking at something that was missed because something that's very something very relatable at this stage of your career is there's very less patience and there's a lot of like this excitement to create.
Sure.
And I still remember like every time you hear a new problem, what you really want to do is you want to run into that screen and you want to create something.
Yeah.
Uh, and sometimes we end up not perceiving the problems, right? Because we're so excited to create solutions. So sometimes you end up
Right.
creating amazing solutions for the wrong problems. So
Right. Right.
it's kind of like seeing a version of myself acting like see, and I'm just like path it a little bit. I'm like, oh, not this.
So it's
It's a,
almost like it's a learning experience while it's a teaching experience, because right? Because you're
yeah,
doing both. You're mentoring her.
yeah. I think something that has come very uniquely to me, like so the person who is my boss,
Yeah.
his name is Harish Krishna, he's the chief design officer of CRED, and he's also the
Mm.
lead singer of this band Agam, which is like super famous. Like when we walk out, yeah, dude's killing it in multiple spheres in life, like really, really well. Like on
Okay.
tours, playing in different countries and everything. And sometimes when we go out, like people surround us for autographs and shit because he's a big deal. Sometimes we forget like we work with such a big personality on a daily
Yeah.
basis, and we call him Bhai. Like
Yeah.
that's how he's known throughout the
Huh.
office.
Mm.
And I think something that he has made a very different way of looking at this for me is
Mm.
their managers and their
Mm.
leaders. I think managers are someone who like they kind of manage your time, resources, and how things should work and functions. But this dude has this insane capacity to have a vision, which is very like it doesn't come to our head ever. Like he just thinks about things very differently, and he has a way to inspire. Like he's a magician with words, so he can come and he can speak to you, and you'll just feel like, wow, like I never thought.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but the one thing that he does so well is he doesn't really tell us what to do. He
Mm,
have this vision. He's like, dude, I have something to tell you. He'll come and he'll try to sell that idea.
mm,
And within the next 20 minutes of us sitting in that room, he'll transfer that vision to us and make it our baby instead of his. And then
mm,
there's also a little bit of hands off where he's like, okay, now this is yours.
mm.
Now you take it forward.
Amazing.
So you kind of like that whole transferring vision is such an amazing thing to have because then you
Yeah,
feel control. You also feel like I want to take this ahead to something far better. And you also get a small chance to make it your own in the way that you
yeah,
perceive and you decipher it for yourself. So I think that is a part that I would want to be. I don't want to ever manage. I would want to
yeah.
lead. But
That
at
is
this,
so cool.
uh,
And what's so amazing is he's also exposing everyone who he is doing this with to a new way of to a new type of leadership, right? Because like you said, it's not just owning the product or owning the idea, even it's saying, shit, there's a different way of even being in the office and being the boss, right? Or being the one to report to or being the manager. And that's kind of amazing.
yeah, I think because the thing is, I've been here for more than like 3 years, and usually the
Yeah.
honeymoon period of any space gets over by 6 months.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I still feel this way, like, and I've had like people who I would
Yeah.
never work with again in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at least I'm like, there must be some genuinity to this. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is a very different person that I've ever met. I think
Very cool.
there's some people you meet in life and you're like, if I have become in 1% of this guy, I'll just make it in life. So I think
Yeah.
it's
That's awesome. So tell me, what are some enablers? What a like personal characteristics, or you already talked about what an amazing leader you have at office who allows you to think and bring ideas and then own those ideas.
right.
What are some other things that allow you to do your job really well?
Hmm. I think there is this sense of confidence in this team. Like I think CRED design team has been known to do like, and again, this is a perspective that I shared when I was not a part of the team when I was outside.
Mm, mm,
So this was an instance back around COVID time.
mm,
So again, I'm not sure how much you know about design space, but maybe someone who's listening to this can relate to this. Uh, there was this agency called Heartbeat Agency, which created the first neuromorphic, not first, but a very freshly made neuromorphic UI, which looked like the old Apple style realistic buttons and everything, and pushed on
mm.
Dribble, which is a showcase platform for designers.
Yeah.
And it created a wave where people just started creating a lot of neuromorphic designs.
Mm,
And it polarized the whole design community in a space where half of them went like, oh, you know what, this is something that is never feasible in terms of development. So what's the
mm,
point? And
mm,
other people are like,
mm.
just shut up and we're just creating something beautiful. Let us do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while the world was still battling on this, CRED launched its app in neuromorphic design, completely functional. And I'm talking about things like if you tap on a button on haptic, the button actually feels like it got tapped in. It gives you feedback as well. Like it was insanely beautiful. And something the world was like, it's feasible in here. These guys made it during COVID when remote work was not
Yeah.
even a thing that India knew how to work
Yeah.
in. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm done creating vanilla shit. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the thing is, the people in this team, they come from a broad spectrum of brands that exist out there.
Mm,
Like from every other brand, but all of us came here and we were able to do the best work of our life here because somehow it was not just about who we are, but also what this entity believed in.
mm.
Like, this is a very micro minority of designers who feel like it is important for things to look beautiful.
Got it.
Like we
Yeah.
are by creatures, we love
Yeah.
beauty, we are not always reasonable. Like for a very function driven person, they're like, oh, a house. You just
Yeah.
need four walls to protect you from
Yeah.
weather and just keep you warm. Like,
Yeah.
but you move to a new place, you painted it beautifully dark green, you have a nice bookshelf. Like there is something that made you go like the extra mile to make it look a certain way. You
Yeah.
are form driven. You're not just about function. So I think this team is something that feels like there needs to be beauty out there in the world, and we gotta do
Yeah.
our part in putting it out there. And I think that requires a lot of guts because um, this is a shared perspective amongst designers, but people who are from more functional spaces like product managers, like developers, most of the companies, people are like me are not able to create that because that perspective is not shared across
Mm.
different levels. But here we have Bhai, who's not a designer, he's a CDO. So there are
Mm.
so many battles that he eats for us
He needs to, yeah,
that we don't have to. So we can actually
correct.
focus a lot on creativity, and he's the
Of
enabler that lets
course.
us create what we do.
That's
And
amazing.
it's the kind of team that they have over time added across devs as well. Like
Mm.
the developers that are at CRED are people who are not just devs, they're also artists. We have stand-up comedians, we have guitarists, we have musicians, like
Mm.
people who are actually people who would appreciate art because only if you appreciate art, you'll actually know the attention to detail. So I
Yeah,
might make something very particular
yeah,
and someone will end up creating a very Chinese whispered version of it and be like, same
yeah,
color. But a
yeah,
person
yeah,
who creates art will be like, no, you know what, the round corner is like
yeah,
3.5.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think that kind of
Right.
fun is only there with artists. So when you integrate
Yeah,
people like of that kind of nature together, you're supposed to, you are bound to
yeah.
make it beautiful.
Makes sense. So you have your team at CRED, the team as well as the leadership at CRED that allows you to be the best version of yourself at work. Like you're bringing your best self every time, or at least you're trying your best.
Right.
What on the flip side, what are some hurdles, challenges, things that hold you back, or things that not even hold you back, that are obstacles to you doing your part better, not at a team functional level. I want to think about you as a lead product designer. Like what still needs to be worked on, or
I think I wish I had more hours in a day. Like,
okay. Yeah, well, you're dancing, you're designing, you're leading, you're going to the gym.
yeah.
you
I
so
think
yeah,
that's what I feel because by the end of the day, I feel like, okay, now I'm kind of tired. I want to do
yeah,
a couple of things. Like, some days I'm like, why does, why do work days have to be like, so tightly knit set
yeah,
of,
yeah,
why not do something memorable every day so that you feel like, oh, you know what? It's just not the weekends that I create memories, it's also the weekdays and
yeah.
beyond work, like on my personal life too. So I just wish I could have like some more hours, like just give me like 3 more and I'll find something to do with it.
What's the biggest time suck for you?
The biggest time, so to be honest, nothing because I've optimized
Nothing.
everything
Okay.
to I've juiced it out.
Okay. Fair
Like,
enough. Okay. All right. So you've already tried to milk as much as you can out of 24 hours, and
because
now you want 27.
yeah, because if I
Okay.
could find it, like I've been recently very curious about skateboarding too. I'm like, I want to like kind of get that too. But then also there's kickboxing. So I'm like, there's so many things. I'm like, if I had the time, I would sneak something in for sure.
Got it. Got it. Okay. All right. So tell me this: for someone who's completely optimized their life, if I had to look over your shoulder and see your desktop, your laptop, wherever you're working, what are
Yeah.
some things that I would see that are just on, always on?
Yeah, that's such a sad statement. I just realized like you have optimized your life to the point like how sad.
But you just said that. You just
That's
said that. You're like, I've figured
self-reflection
it
right
out.
now.
Here's
Yeah.
an introspective moment.
Okay. Okay. On my desktop, I think I have, okay. I don't think I can show you this properly, but basically I have a treadmill, I have a hydraulic disc,
Okay.
and I have like two screens and one laptop right here. So
Hmm.
a lot of times I kind of just walk while I design.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I have over time kind of learned how to design at a speed of 3.5 to 4 on a treadmill. So I can literally like walk very fast and design at the same time. So that's my reason. This thing.
okay. Okay. So that's your setup. That's your work setup.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so what is this one thing that we're going to talk about today that has come into your life and has changed it?
Yeah, I think I thought about it before this. I think it's gonna be ChatGPT because all the parts of my life that I really don't want to invest any time in, I think it takes that over, and I love that part about it. At
And
this
now
point,
this makes so much sense because you just told me that you want 3 more hours in your day,
now you're right.
right? Now it's making sense. It's not just I like ChatGPT because it's AI and can do cool shit. It's because I need more time. So it
Yeah,
gives me
I
more
don't think
time.
I'm I very hardly get pulled by that whole thing, like, it's AI or it's something new. So
Yeah.
like, it doesn't work. Like, I will not get into it until I feel like I really, really have to. I'll
Mm.
avoid anything new as long as I can.
Yeah.
If I find value, then I'm like totally into it. Like, I have figured out so many random ways to use it to just make my life easier at this point. So yeah.
So like what? Let's dive right into it and get down and dirty with ChatGPT. So how has it changed your life? Because if you're someone who doesn't easily adopt like a
Right,
new solution, because it could
right,
be disruptive to your existing flow and all of those things,
right.
what changed?
So I'll give you an example. Like, I think for mostly communication itself,
Hmm.
like, I hate typing. So
Hmm.
I'm someone who loves love to speak. So even if I have to respond to someone and they have used this whole, like dear sir, after like all of like, I can't say like, hey man, good, go for it. Like, even I have to add some parts of that. So I'll just copy paste that whole thing, put it on ChatGPT, be like, hey, listen, this is what this person has sent. This is what I want to reply. Can you just craft this message for me? And I'll say whatever message I want to say. And
Hmm.
ChatGPT will take it and put that whole thank you so much for reaching out and all of that part again and piche, give the crux and just send it out. So I think
And
that
you say what you say, matlab you're typing it or you're speaking?
oh, I'm speaking.
You're speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Chal,
all I
then
do
we have
is
to see that. Yeah.
copy paste from here, copy paste from here, and you're done. So I think it just
Okay. Okay, so framing emails, responding, and that the time suck of typing and responding, and also keeping the tone aligned, right,
right.
is where it's helping you. Tell me something else. So where else? How else is it? Are you using it now?
I think in terms of designing itself, I
Hmm.
think there is a good amount of scope that or do you want to actually do it with an example? Like
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah.
uh
I've given you screen share access if you want to show me anything.
yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, completely blank slate. So we have
Nice.
no, yeah, yes.
So not showing
As
you my
clean
history.
as clean as it gets. Okay.
You're right.
All right. Okay, and
So,
you're using 4. Okay, cool. So you're on the
no, this
latest
is
version of it.
yeah, this is 4.0. I think this is the one that recently got out.
Yes.
Didn't
That's right. That's
experiment
right.
a lot with it, but it has this
Hmm.
nice audio thing, so I'm gonna stick to that. Uh,
Okay.
so let's take an example. I think uh, so there is something that I'm very much against in the design community of
Hmm.
hiring that happens is people give uh, people assignments to do instead of looking
Okay.
at the past work. I think that is
Hmm.
like, hey, I want to test your skills, so why don't you take out, 1 weekend of your life and do this for me so that I can judge if you're good enough or not? Which feels like
Hmm.
a very self-absorbed way of like looking at designers. So,
Hmm.
but again, I think you don't have the capacity to kind of retaliate when you're starting out. So you
Hmm.
kind of just fall in place and eventually
Yeah.
you go like, no way.
Yeah.
But I think there are easier ways to get out of it now.
Okay.
Like you can optimize your time around it. So uh, let's say there is a fitness app that you have to create and there's an assignment
Hmm.
that has been given to design that hey, why don't you go ahead and create a fitness app, and maybe the target segment is people who are not really uh what do you say, they're not people who are very motivated to work on, because
Hmm.
I think working out is a very weird experience. You are required to put in a lot of instant effort,
Hmm.
but the gratification is long term. So you kill
Yeah.
yourself for 3 weeks now, and maybe 4 months later you'll see something good. Like that's such a bad problem. Like it would have never worked out as a value proposition to any business ever. But it's just a sad reality of how this. And like if you think about it, it works very against evolution. Like our ancestors made pulley, they made life to like pull things easily, and यहाँ पे लोग जबरदस्ती भारी चीजें उठा रहे हैं. So it
Yeah.
this thing. It's hard to solve as a problem.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I feel the pain of someone who goes to the gym every day and dances that okay, yes, you're putting in a lot of work. You're putting in a lot of work, okay.
so if someone gets a problem like this, and I think now designers, they have this whole process that, oh, I'll do my primary research, I'll do my secondary
Hmm.
research, I'll create some wireframes, I'll create some prototypes and high fidelity design, look through it, do
Hmm.
certain amount of user personas, empathy mapping. And this shit takes time. You have to like sit
Yeah.
and create and create and create. Before execution even comes into picture, there's so much more to do.
Yeah.
So I think if you're ever facing something like this, I think something like ChatGPT can literally take that 1.5 day of effort and sort it within like 10 to 20 minutes of like thoughtfully done stuff. So let's give it a shot. Hey ChatGPT, I'm a product designer. I have gotten an assignment to create a fitness app that is focused towards users who are not naturally motivated to work out. And we want to create an experience for these beginners to have an experience where they kind of stick to the whole idea of fitness for much longer and can eventually turn into people who can integrate fitness into their lifestyle for a long term. Can you help me create uh, a solution for this in terms of product design? So I talk to it like random, so there's no structure. I just keep adding things, be teaching whatever I figure.
And your prompt is so broad. Can you create a solution for this? I mean, I'm just impressed that if, oh, wow, okay, this is,
So if you see everything that I told you, right? Certain amount of research, principles that this should be focused on, what are the features and functionalities you can add. So this is like that jamming partner, which people feel very isolated when they're working on it. So a lot of people are like, hey, I have made something, but I'm not sure if this is right or wrong. And usually you will look for a senior person, but sometimes they're not available. Sometimes I feel bad because I get messages that I don't read on that point in time.
hmm,
And they're
hmm,
like, oh, I have this interview. Can you help me now? And I see it for 2 weeks later. Now it's
yeah,
sad. It's very off to even reply to that and be like, what happened? Because if it didn't work out, they're like, fuck you, you should have responded sooner.
yeah, yeah,
So I think if you look at this, it has all of this right here. So for a person who's starting out, they'll get a good amount of brief right in terms of what they're supposed to do, right?
yeah.
And I think something that is changing a lot in terms of AI coming into the picture is the whole navigation. Like
Hmm,
right now, uh, before AI, if you have to get some new sunglasses for yourself, you'll be like, okay, show me sunglasses on Google. It'll show you three
yeah,
links. You'll surf through multiple products and all of that stuff.
yeah.
It's like you navigate to things that you want. But with AI,
Hmm,
that thing has changed. Now the things that you want navigate to you.
hmm,
And the amount of context that's being added, now it's gonna have contextual information like, okay, which are the brands you usually go for, what is your usual, let's say I don't know, affordance structure around which you
hmm,
really buy things. So it has so much context, going to give you something very, very specific to you.
hmm.
That there's a lot of advantage there. So if I go like, thanks, ChatGPT, can you help me do a competitor analysis around this? Find and research around brands which create something similar, and how can this product be different from them? So this, I would have actually gone into multiple apps, which UI screens, which some articles being written on these products, and then be like, okay, you know what are the strengths, what are the weakness, what can I do different? I would have like usually would go out and talk to people to understand like, oh, have you
Yeah.
used this app? What worked, what didn't work? And
Hmm,
right now, imagine all of this like multiple conversational stuff, which just all captured right here.
hmm, hmm.
And I can actually go ahead and be like, okay, ChatGPT, why don't you create empathy mapping around this? Also help me create wireframes and a list of edge cases that I should make sure that are existing in this product, and also help me create 7 major user stories that I should capture by creating these flows. So as someone who has done this is something that will easily take 2 to 3 days of just capturing all this information, creating all of this. Like it has done all the research for me. It has
Hmm,
created all the, figuring out the right USP for it. Kya hona
hmm.
chahiye. And again, after that, you'll have to jam furthermore to refine this much better. But in terms of even wireframes, it will tell you which are the screens that you should create. It will tell you the
Wow,
edge cases that you're
this is
supposed to make,
amazing.
like all the user stories that you're supposed to capture. And trust me, like after all of this, all you have to do is sit and create. And I think that's where the craft comes in. Like this is what tech can give you, but a Poocho individual
Yeah,
character
yeah.
of a designer is going to show up after that. And I think, yeah, after all of this is done, just ask it to be like, okay, this is my case study. And now you can actually throw in a screenshot of what you have created and be like, create a case study for me. The part that I hate, which is writing, it can actually do that part for me too. And I can adjust the tone and everything around the way I want to
Yeah.
communicate things. And yeah, I think this is something that's pretty chill.
So this is a use case you've given me for someone who's applying for a position and has to do all this background work, right? This
Yep.
desk research, and this is ChatGPT helping you with that. I want to know how Atul uses it. Like, where are you? Like, what are you doing? Other than I got this email and please respond to this email. I understood that use case. Give
Right.
me an application at work other than email, unless if that is the range at which you're using ChatGPT, that's fine too. If it's for communication, are you using it for design in any capacity?
I think design something like UX copy. So,
Like, give me an example.
hmm, okay. Hey ChatGPT, I want to write a UX copy within 2 lines for a banner to sell a fitness plan to users who are using this fitness app. But my cohort is multiple types of people with different core motivations. I wanted to use the Oculus's framework and craft uh, all different areas of messaging that can actually intrigue all these people with different core motivations. I'll give you a background about this. So, you and me as a person, we're very different, right? Let's say both of us are motivated towards fitness, but we need
Hmm.
certain triggers and pushes, right?
Yeah.
Now, you could be someone who is motivated by the fact that, hey, if you continue working out today as well, you'll be in the top 1% of people who never broke the streak.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I could be someone who's more, triggered by the fact that, oh, you know what, if I work out today, I'm going to get this 500 rupees coupon off, which I can use on one of the products that I'm going to buy.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there's extrinsic motivation, there's intrinsic motivation, which
Yeah.
deeper further has exclusivity. Like if I tell you that the top 1%, that feels like, oh, you know what, I want to be that exclusive.
Yeah.
Whereas someone
Yeah.
else can be like, oh, you know what, I get a benefit or a perk out of this. I want to like make the best out of this
Right.
situation.
Right.
Earlier, if I had to create a banner, all I would do is like, hey, new offer, get this.
Hmm.
But now I can actually go ahead and be like, because there is no copywriter whose time I'm sucking, I can create 8 different versions of it. I can throw out the same banner to my complete millions of users. And then I'm going to round robin it. And eventually
Right.
I'll know that which kind of users tap on what kind of messaging. If you look at this,
Right.
the achievement
Yeah.
oriented
Yeah. Get it.
to like unlock your potential for
You're
someone
doing
who's
your A/B test.
yeah.
That's what you're doing. You're just putting it out there, and amazing.
And imagine this after the couple of experiments of this, you'll be able to
Yeah.
bucket all your users into 8 core drives.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next time you have to talk to them, I will always talk to you in the same way. I'll be like, you know
Yeah.
what, you're in the top 100 right now. Kind of work out today, you'll end up being in the top 50. For me, I'll keep on saying that, hey, you know what, you'll get a free visit to Cult Center if you do this class. Like my communication to you is going to be so personal because I know what works for you. And all of this is something that a designer can simply sit and do, and they don't need a PM and a copywriter and get 7 people to align and be like, apna dimag la ke 7 variations banao, say 8 different code drives.
Hmm.
You can all do it yourself. So,
So one thing that stood out to me was your prompt was so specific, right? Like you knew the right things to say, you knew the right references to allude to, right? The right instruction to give it, and so you got something that's beautiful, right, and actionable.
right.
Where did the training for prompts come from? How, what by that I mean, give me some context on how did you figure out what's the right input to give ChatGPT to get this kind of output?
I think if you're broadly lazy enough and you want to escape amount of work that you want to
Hmm.
escape, you
How
will.
long have you been using it? Let me ask you that.
I think for me, I think since the time it came out, I think I didn't, it didn't kind of pique my interest for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I realized like it talks to me the way I talk to it, and I can always change that direction and I can be more
Yeah.
perspective. And then also I think eventually as even it was improving, you kind of understand a lot more. Like earlier you were like, okay, if I'm in the same conversation, if I tell it something once, it will remember. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
then you turn out, okay, how do I create a framework of a prompt where I keep on changing the X and the Y and Z, everything stays the same every single time. And it will give you those curated results. So I think it's a lot of test and trial,
Hmm.
but it eventually leads to that. So I think it's like craft. It's something you'll have to hammer in for quite some time to get it right. There is no
Right.
framework
And
around.
that I get. So I'm asking about your craft. Like tell me how much time you invested in playing with ChatGPT till you got to this point where you are now just having a chat with
Right,
ChatGPT, right? An audio chat, and you're able to command it well enough where in its first iteration, it's pretty damn good. I mean, you could, of course, keep updating it. So give
right.
me some context on the training of or the development of this craft. How many hours on average do you spend on ChatGPT?
I think I had an intense 1.5 week where I was trying to like sort few things. So I think that it
Great.
had like a lot of engagement, and it's a very incremental process of understanding what this was capable of.
Correct.
And I think, yeah,
Correct.
1.5 week was enough, and now it's very used to basis. Like, and my questions are not around this. Like, design is just a part I do for work. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm as simple as like, okay, I recently learned there's something called leave-in conditioner. I'm like,
Okay.
can I actually use it and also hair dry and put my powdered hair wax after that? And it's
Yeah.
question like these. And
Yeah.
it figures out and tells them like, yeah, that's all I need to know. Thank you. Go ahead. Like, it's very
Yeah. So you're just the more you're talking to it, the more you're interacting with it, you're kind of figuring out its personality. Like, what does it need? Like, what does
right,
it need to give you the answer you're looking for?
right. I mean, to be honest, like, okay, let's go beyond work. Right? Let's say dating space.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're having this, okay, all the guys relate. Okay. So let's say you're having this very amazing conversation and you're like, at this point, uh, I want to like, wait, I'm done sharing, right?
No, no, you're done. I stopped it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think you're having this conversation, you're like, okay, this person has said something that I just can't decipher. Like,
Mm.
I don't know what is the sense of it. I don't know what is the narrative that she's trying to play.
Mm.
You just put it out there and you're
Mm.
like, okay, you know what? This is how the conversation is going on. What do you think about it? Just throw in those screenshots and it tells you that. And I actually experimented this once.
With
I'm
a
like,
screenshot, you put in image.
yeah, you can do anything.
You put in an image in ChatGPT and it could pull out, understand the text in the image.
Yeah, 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 dude, it's doing that since a very long time.
What? I didn't know you could do that.
I
Okay.
think in the phone you can actually click a
Okay.
picture and select the thing also. Like I think recently I was like, okay, I have like a white shirt and a brown trouser.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure like which color, like I knew white would work. I'm like, is there any other combination that could work?
Mm.
And it was like I just clicked the picture, I circled the pants and trouser, and it told me like a set of colors. And I was like, yeah, I have these colors, this works. You can actually
You
click your
use
picture and be like, acha lag raha hai.
what? This is mind blowing for me right now. Okay, so you're using even screenshots, even pictures. So your engagement with ChatGPT and this world of AI is, I would say, quite extensive now, right? You've gotten so familiar, you're kind of using it for all sorts of decision making. Would that be or clarity, clarification?
Yeah, I don't think I've thought about this until you mentioned it now, but yeah, I think there's a lot of reliability that's
Right?
going on there. Yeah.
Right? Because it seems like that. I mean, if you're even getting suggestions for your outfit or like deciphering, cryptic, love dating messages, and you're using it for design use cases. So
Because that's
it's,
actually funny because I actually checked with this person, like, hey, listen, I couldn't get what you was trying to say.
yeah.
I have something that I've figured out, but you tell me what you really meant. And what she meant and what the ChatGPT said was the same thing. I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, I can rely on
Wow.
it. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
I
Okay.
guess-
All right. Is there any, no, that doesn't even make sense. Okay, so you've been using it. So the advice, let me put it this way. If somebody wants to get to this level of comf- comfort, like this level of comfort with ChatGPT in terms of talking to it, prompts, getting something useful out of it, what you did was a 1.5 week kind of crash engagement course with it, saying, let me just like crack the code on and let me just keep talking to it, right? And seeing how so that was your training period,
Right,
right? Or acclimatization period. Like this is how you got acclimatized to what is possible, correct?
right. I think I think it's more around being more secure with it. Like
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So I was visiting a lot of colleges for these panel discussions with lecture recently, and sometimes people would just be like, "Oh, you have such a nice skin," and it felt nice when they said it, but फिर ना नजर लग गई. So then I had a breakout. फिर बहुत fuck था like for 2 3 weeks and this really gets to me. So I'm like, what the fuck, this is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, yeah.
And at one point, I was like, I don't know. My sister, she's 9 years younger to me. She's in NIFT
Mm,
Bangalore. She's also becoming a
mm.
product designer, and she's very brutal with her words. I came back and she was at home. She was getting her laundry done at my place, and she's like, "Dude, orange doesn't suit you." And I was already pissed about this whole thing. I'm like, very annoyed. But the next day, when I was getting
Yeah.
ready, I was like, "Hey, listen, I had a breakout. I think I can see some redness on my face. What are the colors I should wear?" And I just clicked the picture of my wardrobe and I just added there. And it actually told me like, hey, listen, in order to do this, wear more whites, like wear something that neutralizes red. Don't wear bright colors, because that's gonna highlight this too. And I was like, this is good shit.
Wow, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And the thing is,
Wow.
this is something you'll have in your head, but there are very few people who can talk about this to someone and be like, hey, listen, ये हो रहा है,
Correct.
color should I
Correct.
wear?
Correct.
तुम पूछ लो कि
Correct.
अच्छा क्या लगता है, but you not talk about these things. So I think
Yes, yes, yes.
someone who is a very personal assistant to you in this way, I think it's much better.
And this is all audio. You're doing this on your phone. So you're
Can't
just
hide it.
so you're on your phone, you have the app, you have ChatGPT 4, and it's a paid subscription. I think it's 2000 a month, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a paid subscription, but all you can do is just like I would say, okay, okay, Google. I don't want to say it because otherwise she'll wake up. But just like, oh shit, she did. Oh my god, she just said something funny like I don't want to wake up or something. But just like that, you just say, okay, ChatGPT. Is that it? Is that how you prompt it?
No, I just go there and think there's an audio thing to that. So I just
Oh, you
tap.
just tap
And
it and you start it. Okay,
it's like talking
amazing.
audio messages on WhatsApp, to be honest. Like it's just that simple.
Yeah, that is so cool. I would say this is my first conversation that I'm having with someone using ChatGPT 4 because I know that is in any case a new thing that's been introduced right now. I mean, an upgrade. So this is a this is a brand new space for me, and it feels like it's going in that realm of what's a movie, Her, right?
Oh,
Like where like you're just like that's it's so
okay, that's very
possible.
scary what you just said right now. I
No, no,
hope
no.
it's not there for
But
me.
no, but I mean, of course, that takes it to a dystopic level. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the same. Here's someone who you can talk to, and I'm sure she's got different. They have different sounds, like avatars, possibly that you can, opt for. So
I know
something
you're
to
being
try.
nice, but I'm just getting more and more scared as you keep
No, no,
talking.
no, don't get. I want to try it. I want to try it. Like, I mean, the fact that I want to try it.
Eventually,
So
I will have no friends. It's just gonna me and my 7 avatars of
no,
GP
no, no.
together.
Oh no, 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 I don't think so. But thank you for kind of sharing your life and how you're using this technology across the board is clearly what is coming out to me. And I'm sure that whoever's watching this is going to want to try it for all the different ways in which you're using it. So
I think they
so
know
that's
more
really
than they
great.
should, but
Yeah. Uh, okay, last thing left is a rapid fire. Are you ready?
wait, I didn't know about this. Okay, let's do
Yes,
that.
yes. It's very painless. Very, very painless. Okay. First one, name one thing on your bucket list.
Okay, rapid fire, right? Hmm, doesn't feel.
After everything you want to do and can't do, you can't name one thing on your bucket list.
The first thing that came, I didn't want to say that, so I'm like thinking of an alternative. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a long solo travel.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
the concept of group solo travel. I was
Hmm.
supposed to do it for my birthday, but a project came inside to push it. I think I'm gonna do it next month. It's gonna be a 9-day trip to Bali with a group of random strangers. I want to experience that.
Very cool. Okay. What social media platform are you personally most active on?
Instagram.
What comes to mind when I say happiness?
Self-love.
Okay. Do you own a vehicle?
Hate driving. But I own two vehicles. One of them, like, it's a gift to my mom and dad each. But personally, Uber since forever.
Okay, awesome. That was it. See, I told you painless, other than the first item on your bucket
Yeah,
list,
the
which you
first item was
eventually
like,
got.
wow.
Which you got. So,
I
so
still got
that's
it.
fine. Yeah, you eventually got it. Thanks so much, Atul. This was absolutely fantastic and thoroughly entertaining. I feel like I had a good time. I hope you did.
I did too. Thank you so much for having me over.
Awesome. All right. Bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.